Guy, you're looking nice and kind of wintry and, warm and soft in your little green pullover there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if you can see, but I can't tell what you can see behind me, but we got significant snowfall.
No, you have
Significant.
accumulation. Yeah.
We had
And
accumulation.
have you been out and about? Have you frolicked? Have you done your
My
first sledding run?
so Lily's our middle child. She's our only daughter. We were out there shoveling last night, probably about 10 o'clock ish. Just put on the Tims, as the kids say, the Timberlands.
Yeah.
We went out there and did our thing. Yeah, it was, and it was a nice snow.
How's your back? You okay?
Fine. It's not the heavy snow. It was light. It wasn't that heavy, slushy, annoying
So you can't
snow.
it's not, you weren't picking off cars driving by with good snowballs because you can't really pack a good snowball.
Was not a snowball packing type of snow.
Were you lurking behind trees and bushes growing up in the main streets of Croton, like taking cars out with like a sweet old, showing a nice 90-mile-an-hour fastball?
No, I like what you did there. The problem with that is most of the guys and gals, they had shotguns in the car. So if you tried to pull that stunt, they were picking you off. So no, we did not throw snowballs at cars. We would have snowball fights, but throwing a snowball at a car back then, I mean, there was a bounty on your head. So I
remember the first time. So we played a lot of street hockey in front of the house, and I know you don't believe this happened in Scarsdale, but some dude drove by, obviously on his way to White Plains. Wasn't a Scarsdale guy, and we thought we owned the road, right? So if you actually had the audacity to drive down the street, you'd feel our wrath, and I'm sure one of us wise guys said something, and next thing you know, like an hour later, the dude comes back, and the dude was we're probably 14, 15, he's probably 18, 19, comes back, was driving a Camaro, comes back, gets out of the car, challenges my older brother, and this was my time. This was my time to get in there, and next thing you know, man, I'm rolling around. It's the first real fight I can remember. And my dad's looking out the back door as the whole thing's going on. It was. And so the guy came back, he put on, like those, they used to have these little weight things you could tie around your hands to make for like when you're jogging, like these sandbag things. I don't know what it was, but he had them on and he put them on over his jacket. Now I realized this dude was trying to throw a heavier punch, but he made himself slow as molasses, bro.
Right.
So
right.
I mean,
listen,
anyway.
he sacrificed speed for
power.
Power. It's like one of those video games where you get to choose your superpower. It's
which is what I think Ricky Henderson did, by the way, later on in his career. I mean, I think that guy was hitting 30 dongs a year when yet he came into the league as a guy stealing bases, but I digress.
But so what you were describing there is sort of akin to your older brother being Patrick Swayze and you being sort of Pony Boy and him sort of saying, stay close, but
I got this.
Yeah, right.
When they're running out to battle, I thought there was a lot of honor in that. I remember Swayze faced off with, I think it was Tim, who he played football with.
Because you learned that in the movie. They actually spoke to that. They played football together.
Football, and he basically, they kind of said, it's kind of like in hockey. When, the fighting is just part of the game and you don't, you accept it. Like, you want to go? Like, it's like a conversation. Should we do this? And it's not. And I think Swayze and Tim, he's like, I'll take you. And next thing you know, off they went. So speaking of off they went, Square is flying today, and they're flying for a lot of different reasons because a lot of it's Bitcoin, right? They've got this big Bitcoin both holding, and part of their business is that they're actually giving people the opportunity. So it's seen as a Bitcoin play. Bitcoin, I mean, God bless Brian Kelly. I mean, holy cow, this is out of hand. But Square is one of these names that I was on early, and I really like the whole idea of the Cash App and the stickiness of the platform. And obviously, not the hardware is never what this was about that you see, at the register. And that's a stock I sold coming out of the crisis around $90, and it's 235 plus or minus right now. And I thought I was stealing then. I mean, I hate myself for this, man. And everybody's got those stocks, but this one every single day, I feel like, the best way to to get over this is to go buy some stock, because that will stop it from going higher.
So yeah, no, I know what you mean by that. So this is your Joan Jett trade. You know, you hate you hate yourself for. I hate myself for loving you. I mean, you hate yourself for selling Square.
Listen to
I mean,
you.
it's like you could put words to that, and to the song to the Joan Jett classic.
So Joan Jett, some of those songs, some of the hooks in those songs made them things you could not help but sing. I hate myself for
100%.
loving. I mean, and by the way, Joan Jett, not to be confused with Susie Quattro.
A lot of similarities there. A lot of
Yeah.
similarities there. And Joan Jett covered, I think, the great Crimson and Clover. I would suggest she did it better than the original. Few artists have been able to pull that off, by the way.
Joan Jett, underrated. I guess at that time you had a choice. It was Joan Jett or Pat Benatar, really.
You know, so obviously Benatar, I think, was a little more mainstream, not as sort of edgy, but both. I mean, Joan Jett is still touring. I actually saw Joan Jett at the Morristown Community Theater pre-COVID, and she crushed it. Yeah.
What goes on in Morristown, man? Goes on.
No, I'm just telling you. I mean, there's a lot of great acts. I saw the Allman Brothers there. I saw Jackson Browne there. I saw Get the Let Out there, which, by the way, for you Zeppelin folks out there, Get the Let Out is ridiculous in a good way.
There was definitely a couple great Zeppelin cover bands growing up that I used to see at the Aft. But there was 3 girls at Ridgemont High that were cultivating the Pat Benatar look.
So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And they spoke to that in Fast Times. Tremendous movie. Tremendous movie. Cameron Crowe. I mean, we talked about this, but Cameron Crowe, genius.
If I could come back as another person, I don't really want to be anyone in this world other than you. But if I could come back as Cameron Crowe, I mean, that would be fantastic. So, any stocks that kind of fit that bill for you, where you were a player and you thought enough's enough, and in this marketplace, I mean, there's a lot of traders out there that feel like they sold their winners too early, and that's one of the biggest kind of trading failures that I think a lot of people suffer from, because they're scared to actually see a reversal.
But it's hard to beat yourself up. I mean, and listen, nobody in there, I don't care who you are, nobody saw Square going to the levels we've seen. And the market cap of what I think Square right now, as we speak, as the crow flies, as they say, is like the
I hate that expression,
120th, because I don't know what it means. The crow's flying, but I understand. But it's the 120th largest company in the world now. Just think about that for a second. And to your earlier point, before we get out of here, when it came out, everybody said it's a hardware company. I mean, what is Square? They make this little thing you put on the end of your phone, or you go to it was anything but that. And I think you specifically have done a decent job on Fast Money talking about that. And I think collectively we have as well.
Well, it tells you, fintech was a concept, and then suddenly a bunch of companies that you didn't have to dig too deep into fintech, Square, PayPal being top of the food chain, that have really dominated. And the third person I want to come back as outside of Guy Adami and Cameron Crowe is Jack Dorsey. I mean,
Stud.
Are you kidding me? And rocking a sweet beard these days. I mean, last time I checked, he's like in ZZ Top territory.
With a nose ring too. I mean, Jack's the man. You say what you want. I think he's got something going on. He's got. I think, and don't at me if I'm wrong. I know Square made an all-time high today, and I think Twitter made an all-time high yesterday. So, 2 companies that he was under the gun for, both lousy performance 2 years ago. I mean, nobody talks about Jack Dorsey. The guy's one of the top CEOs in the world. Full stop.
He's at the top of his game, and every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man, guy. So as we came in talking about your little pullover, and let's end it with a little ZZ Top.
Of course,
looking good.
DeGuayo, of course, being one of the great albums that Sharp Dressed Man was not on. Anyway, we got to get out of here.
See you later.